Everyone can write, but is everyone a writer?
Great question. Everyone can write and everyone can be a writer. But I think the bigger question is, what part of the creative process are you trying to be a part of? And a lot of people don't know that there are so many other ways of being a part of the creative process in this particular industry that you don't have to be a writer. So I think because of the lack of knowledge, people know there's a director, they know there's a writer, they know there's a producer. Some people might not think past those three things, right? And so they're thinking to themselves, a lot of people think, well, I want to be the writer because the writer is the person who's in charge. You know, they're the ones who are making the story. They're the ones who get to say what happens. Little do they know that the writer is not in charge. The writer puts that stuff on the script. They may receive their paycheck and they may not be a part of the rest of the process because there are other people who have creative jobs throughout the process. So I definitely think anybody can be a writer, but I do think that they have to want to hone the skill and they have to respect the art. But other than that, some people, and this is what I enjoyed about going to Florida State's film school, because we did get to learn all of the below the line positions. Some people get in and realize, I don't want to be the director, I want to be the camera operator. Everyone thinks that the camera operator is the director. Right? Like if, you know, people who are at home who might just within a movie see a movie being made, they assume that the person who's actually behind the camera is the director. And it's like, no, the director's over there in the chair watching the monitor, you know, so they can see the whole frame, etc. And some people really want to be the person physically out there with the camera. So I think if we just had more knowledge about all of the parts of the process and how you can be a part of that process, many people wouldn't choose writing. Because even if we just think about it in general, a lot of people just aren't that great with the English language, period. A lot of people don't like to write, period. You know, some people don't like to read. That's just not their thing. That's totally fine. But to then have this creative thing that you want to get out, it's like, yeah, well, you can be a non-writing producer. You can be the person who has the ideas and then hire someone who can actually do the physical writing because they've, you know, been able to master that skill in some kind of way. But I think it just really comes from a place of having ideas and not knowing how they can fit into the overall puzzle of the industry and have a creative voice.
So then going back to that hypothetical person that wakes up one day and says, I want to be a writer, I have a really cool story, everyone's going to love this. They need to know that that's not exactly how it works and it takes a lot of time. And what do you say to that one that you said, the person at home watching TV, and maybe they did have an incredible life and they overcame a lot of challenges, but they're not really writers?
Yeah, I think it's hard to make people understand that they're not writers, right? I think just like with the example of thinking of an athlete, people think they know what athletes look like. People think they know what the skill sets should be if you're an athlete. Some people have athletic bodies. You might not know what kind of sport they play, right? But they walk into the room and you're thinking, oh, you're probably some kind of athlete. With writers, there's no thing like that because anybody can be a writer. So I say if you have an idea, respect the craft enough to then go hone your skill. That doesn't mean you have to go to film school. Film school is not for everyone. I enjoyed film school because I like learning in a classroom structure, right? But I could have had that same education by just going and being on some sets. I think all writers should PA at some time. All writers should be on set so that you can see what it takes to get done what you're asking people to do, right? So you can understand what budgets actually look like when you're writing your car chase scene and, you know, writing your action scenes and understanding that needing blood and needing prosthetics and needing stunt doubles and needing all these people, all of that is going to cost money, right? So just hone your skill, hone your craft. There are online courses. I teach online courses. I give feedback on screenplays because I'm not saying don't try. You definitely should try. But within that process, get some feedback and get better. One of the things that I tell people is, if this is actually your baby, if you think this is the best idea ever, don't practice on your baby. Practice on some other idea so that you can get good and then write your baby because you want people to take your baby seriously. The other thing is I tell people, stop calling it your baby. It's not your baby. At some point, you're going to have to sell your baby and you don't want to, right? So realize that it's art and it's there for other people to participate in the process and on your side of it if you're trying to be a professional writer, because not everybody is trying to be a professional writer. Some people just have an idea and that's the thing they want to get made. Some people actually want to have writing as their profession, meaning this is how they make money. This is how they feed their families. And those people are the ones that really have to let go of the baby, because you just need to be writing things so that you can be making income, right? So your baby, somebody else's baby, whoever's baby, you'll write whatever you need to write so that you can have a consistent income. But for those people who just have an idea and that's the thing that they want to get made, do the work, make sure that it's good stuff. Find some other people to come in and be a part of the process. I tell writers all the time, if you're not a director and you don't want to be a director, go find someone to direct your script. Because if you're going to take the time to put in the money and the energy of actually making the film, then you want that product to look good. So what if you write a good screenplay, but you don't get the people necessary so that you can make it look good on the screen? And then now the thing that you have to represent your screenplay is not representing it very well. Right? And the same thing is true. If you're a director, but you're not a writer and you don't want to learn how to be a writer, go find one of your writer friends who has a script, and then you can direct that. This is a collaborative process. It's a collaborative effort. And as writers, we a lot of the times get stuck with thinking it's just me and my computer, right? It's like, well, no, there's so many other people who participate in this process. So anybody who has an idea can write it. Whether it will be good, whether it will fit the structure, whether it's something that is a part of the art, because I get stuck in that place of like, just respect the art, go out there and get the information that you need so that you can have something that's great on the page.
And when you hear certain code words or you see a demeanor in someone, how do you know that, ooh, this is one of these people where we're going to have a talk because they're too precious with their material?
Let's see. I think the code words are as simple as they're always talking about and, well, when I get there, they'll know and I'll tell them and blah, blah, blah. And I always have to say to them, you might not be there. Like, you just physically might not be there. Just understanding especially in features, they may literally pay for your script and send you on your way and never ask you another thing, right? So just explaining to them the writer's place in the process. Like, I even have a Hollywood pyramid that I show people that I made, and I show them who is king. The studios are the king, the networks are the king, production companies are not far under them. Then you have all of the executives, you have all of the above the line people, and the writer is way down at the bottom because they are just the first part of the process. And after their part of the process is over, everybody else has to do theirs, right? It's one of the reasons that no one invites the writers, not no one, but people don't often invite the writers to the set because they don't want to hear the writers going, well, this is what it was supposed to be and blah, blah, blah. And now they're giving notes. And it's like, that part of the process is the director's part of the process. He or she is now bringing his or her vision to your script. So you don't know what direction it's going in now. And now you're invited to set and you're on set giving notes to actors and talking to all of these people. And you're now out of line. You've now stepped outside of your bounds. So it's really easy to see when people don't know that that's how the process goes. So I always just say, hey, I just want to give you help you set your expectation of what this will be. And it doesn't mean that there aren't exceptions. There are exceptions. There are people who write their films and they're also able to be producers and be there along the way. So it's possible. Does it happen often for someone who's writing their very first film? Not at all. And that's just a part of the business. And so a lot of people don't have the knowledge of the business. And that's one of the reasons why I exist as a script consultant, so that you can call me and ask me and I can just tell you what it is. And again, anytime I give people advice, I always tell them somebody did it another way. Like, this is not the kind of industry that has a step-by-step, this is how you make it kind of thing. Not for actors, not for writers, not for anybody. Everybody gets there in a different way. So it's totally possible that you can get there the way that you want to get there. But generally speaking, this is how things work in the industry.